So I'm going to talk about the game Freeze that I play with my family. I've done a lot of work within myself to be calm, to not get upset, to not care what other people think, so long as it's negative. If it is negative, then maybe there's some truth in what they're saying, and to evaluate it and have some self-introspection. But in our success of eliminating panic and being very, very slow to anger as a family, inevitably there'd be a moment where it was just impossible, such as my son, when he was almost 4, running out into the road, and a car would come, and I would yell, "Stop!" And I would rescue him, but he would be terrified. He'd be crying because I yelled at him like that. I didn't just startle him or scare him, I terrified him. And on one hand, you can think, well, it's better than being hit by a car, right? So I went and sat with God, and I asked him, what do I do about that? And he told me, freeze. I was like, okay. He said, play freeze with the family and practice freeze. So I sat the family down and said, God told me that we should play freeze. And told everyone that for practice, just randomly throughout the day, say Mom or Kayla or Jason or Jojo, freeze. And then that person has to freeze. So, I basically gave my almost 4-year-old authority to command his father to freeze. And so we practiced that as a game. And then in the panicky moments, it was always hard. It wasn't easy to use, I can't think of the word, to utilize, initiate. Anyway, but we began to slowly. My wife, even to this day, Jojo's 5 and 3 months now, still sometimes forgets to use freeze. When she has a panicky moment, somebody knows to say to her, hey mommy, we use freeze. But anyhow, the next time he ran in the road, I said, Jojo, freeze. And he froze. Before he got to the middle of the street. And no crying. Nobody's upset. I didn't have to panic. It's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful solution. And instead of the idea of, well, sure he's upset, but at least he didn't get hit by a car, now there's a better way. There's a more excellent way. Now, not only is he not hit by a car, nobody's upset, nobody's panicked. I haven't panicked because he's obeyed me. And then we had a really ultimate test. I had some friends visiting from Oregon, and we met them at the airport in Athens. We took the subway to downtown, and at the main metro station in Athens, which is Syntagma, we were exchanging metros, rail lines. And Jojo, so he was a little over 4 at this time, about a year ago exactly. It was in May, so yeah, year and a month, half a month. They were with my friend. Jojo was holding my friend's hand, his wife's hand. And when we got to the station, and the train was really packed. Syntagma has a lot of traffic. And they had their luggage on some racks. And all of a sudden they realized they need to get their luggage. So there's time pressure. You got less than a minute to get off the train and other people to get on the train. And they're thinking, oh, I didn't have my luggage in my hand. I'm not ready. And they let go of Jojo's hand. And Jojo walked out in the crowd. And I saw it, and they saw it, and they really panicked. They didn't know about our game freeze. Because there goes Jojo, but there's our luggage. If I go after Jojo, I lose my luggage. It's very difficult to make. What decision do you make in that moment? And I just stuck my head right out the door, all these people around me, and said, Jojo, freeze! And he froze. And I walked right over and grabbed his hand. Panic never entered my heart. I suppose if he didn't obey me, I might have panicked. But, so yeah, we do it all the time. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, where he was outside on the street playing with some friends with a soccer ball, and every time a car would come, I would say, Jojo, freeze! Get off the sidewalk. Or get off the street on the sidewalk. And he would do it. And the other dad's scrambling, yelling at his kids, get out of the road! You know, and the kids are like, why is Dad yelling at me like this? So, you know. So, of course, I began to pray for an opportunity to maybe share with him what we do. And then to ask my wife, what should be the Greek word? You know, should it, in freeze in Greece, almost means like become an ice cube. Or, I think what the police say is motionless as a word, akinito. But anyway, it's a good thing to do. My wife uses it on all sorts of things, like if I'm about to spill something in the kitchen, or I'm about to use something I shouldn't use, she'll say, freeze. You know, it's a perfect way for us to communicate with each other with such little words and such little, not having to make great decisions. It's like, hey, freeze and give me a minute to think, you know. Or if I'm about to turn around and bump into Ori, and the pass would be, watch out, you know. Now it's like, freeze. And so if I obey that, first practicing as a game so that it becomes an instinct, then I can find out what she meant by it, and we avoid those incidences. And so I'm extremely thankful for God having given me that, and I just can't express the awesomeness of being able to hear from God in order, you know, to learn such things like that. It's just so simple, but such great wisdom. Anyhow, take care.